But Daniel, speaking of things that were of dodgy quality.
Mm. Yes. Your friendly neighborhood Disney Plus correspondent here.
The criminally underpaid Disney correspondent at that.
Yeah, yes. I watched the live action Lilo and Stitch movie. This was actually the first live action remake of one of Disney's movies that I've seen.
Really? Did you manage to avoid the rest?
Yeah, I've avoided the rest. Yeah. I just didn't. I'd seen the animated versions. I really didn't feel like watching the live action ones, like especially like Beauty and the Beast, which was like 2.5 hours. Like I'm not sitting through that. I'm not. I didn't want to sit through 2.5 hours of looking at Emma Watson. Just didn't.
Just like on a philosophical perspective, you're kind of damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, right? Because if you make the movie faithfully, everyone will just go, then can't I just watch the cartoon?
Yeah.
But if you change a bunch of stuff, everybody's going to go, you changed a bunch of stuff. It's not the cartoon anymore.
Yeah. And this movie falls into the latter category. The basic story is still the same. I mean, you've got Stitch, who was actually Project 626, created by a mad scientist named Jumba with the Galactic Federation, and then he escapes and then gets on a ship and then crash lands on one of the Hawaiian Islands. Basically, like the first, whatever it is, like that first part of Lilo and the animated movie, where like Stitch is, he's basically put on trial, and then then he gets imprisoned, and then he escapes, and then the councilwoman decides, tells Jumba to go to Earth to get him, and sends what was his name, Beakley. It was oh, come on, IMDb, where is he? But that in this movie, that's only like the first 5 minutes, and I think in the animated movie it was like 10 minutes or something. And then they would cut back to Earth on Hawaii with Lilo swimming, and she leaves the sandwich for the fish. So basically it kind of stays the same up until actually the way Stitch crashed, they changed.
I heard about that, like where they were originally kind of clever about it and were like, let the kids realize, oh, he's going to crash in the ocean. Oh no, the Hawaiian Islands.
Yeah. They well, one of the things they did was like, oh, he was going to crash on Earth, and they're like, oh, what's the blue stuff? Oh, it's water. The plant's mostly water, and like, oh, well, his molecular density, he'll sink to the bottom. Will cause him to sink, and the animated movie, they didn't have to explain like why his density was such a big deal. In this movie, they did, and it's like, okay. Why'd you feel the need to do that? You're treating your audience like they're idiots. But what happens is, like during the escape, there was like this whole big battle and chase in the animated one, and then the ship that Stitch is in gets damaged, and that's how he crashes. In this, it doesn't get damaged. He's just like kind of chilling out, and he keeps getting the check engine warning. And then that's when the ship breaks, and then it crashes. And then when he crashes on Hawaii in the movie, it was when he gets hit by the truck. In this, he crashes a wedding and then gets hit by a truck. And it's like,
it sounds like a few unnecessary choices.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that was to pad out the running time. Because the animated movie was like hour and a half ish, 80 to 90 minutes. And this movie is just under 2 hours. And the other kind of like change that they did that I didn't like. So do you remember when when they see when Lilo and Nani, when they see the shooting star, and Lilo's like, telling Nani, get it, go, I need to make a wish, get out of the room, and then she wishes for her best friend, and Nani hears it.
Yep.
So what did they do the next day?
Send me your best angel.
Yeah. So what did they? So what the next day? What do they do? They went to the animal shelter to adopt a dog.
Right.
And that's where Lilo meets Stitch. Well, in this, that still happens, but instead of Nani taking Lilo to the animal shelter to adopt a dog, Nani is like a regular visitor of the animal shelter. And she always brings the dogs candy to eat. And the woman who's behind the counter is like, okay, empty your pockets of the candy. And she's like, well, they really like it. And she's like, no, it gives them diarrhea. And it's just like, okay. And then,
what is up with these changes? Like,
I don't know. And well, and also too, so Cobra Bubbles is just a CIA agent in this. In the animated version, he's a retired CIA agent who's a social worker.
Right, because that gives an excuse to have a CIA agent looking guy involved with their life already, because the movie is efficient.
Right, exactly. Yeah, but no, in this they created a completely new social worker character, and I'm convinced the only reason they did that because they wanted to give Tia Carrera a role in the movie. Because for those of you who probably don't remember this, Tia Carrera was the voice of Nani in the animated movie.
Okay.
Yeah. And the guy who voiced David in the animated movie plays Nani's boss in this movie. And David in this movie, he lives next door to Nani, and I think he's living there with his grandmother. And which I don't remember her. She might have been in this. Okay, so that's another thing too. They combined a lot of stuff with the first animated movie and the second animated movie in this one. Like the ending is more like the second movie than the first movie, and of course the reason they did that was because they got rid of Gantu, the giant shark alien guy,
which that's one of the coolest and most original designs in the whole thing.
Yeah. And the only reason I can think that they did that was for budget reasons.
I was going to ask. Because from what I heard, this started life as a Disney Plus movie that they decided to upgrade.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, and the budget on this movie was only I think $100 million, which for a movie like this, like that's pretty cheap. And they spent like $500 million on Snow White. Yeah.
Okay, to be fair, the 500 million figure is also including marketing, but your point is made. They marketed this a lot, but not 400 million worth.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, I mean it's but yeah, there are a lot of other things that they changed. I won't go into all of them. Well, I will say the ending. I will say it was like after the ship crashes in the water, and then Stitch dies, but then Stitch comes back to life, and then of course they kept the whole thing the same with Stitch staying on Earth, to live out his sentence of exile. But and by the way, I knew about this when I found out about this when the movie came out, that instead of Lilo living with Nani and Stitch, Nani decides to go off to college, and Lilo and Stitch go and live with David and his grandmother.
Ohana means family, unless you're personally inconvenienced.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, the whole Ohana thing really wasn't actually kind of downplayed in this movie.
Gee, I wonder why.
Yeah. And another one thing too they changed or they got rid of was the ugly duckling story.
Yeah, which I was watching a bit of the Mahler's stream. talking about that, and you had Rags, a grown man with a great deal of sarcasm in his soul, choking up as he's describing how beautiful this scene that they cut out was.
Yeah.
Just how perfect for the movie it was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and it's just, yeah.
Like, of all the scenes to cut out.
Yeah, they cut that one. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah. But as a cousin of mine once said, why would anyone want to stay to La Quinta when there's a beautiful Marriott right next to it? Why would you watch the live action version when you could watch the animated version? It's far superior.
Yeah, one of the things I don't like about American culture is the way that we've pigeonholed animation into being some sort of inferior category of art. When you get down to it, it takes a lot of, in my opinion, it's almost more high effort than actually making a live action thing.
Yeah.
And so I think all these live action movies, okay, there's two cynical reasons to do it. One is to try and renew the copyright a little bit, because I think I forget what the current length of holding a copyright on a character movie is.
Yeah.
But Mickey Mouse is technically a public domain, but it's only the initial Steamboat Willie version.
Right.
And more things unlock over time. So it's like you want to try to put a stamp on it before you lose it, or periodically during the life of it, to try to create some confusion. So that like let's say they never made another Lilo and Stitch thing again in 2050 or whenever, or 2070. Yeah. Somebody just comes out with more Lilo and Stitch stuff. If you don't have new versions you've been making periodically, you can go after them if they copy too much from the newer versions.
Yeah.
Or copy anything from the newer versions. I also feel like this is another case where, how to put this? I've expressed this before, that I think a lot of writers go to Hollywood to tell their own story, find out that all that's being offered is remakes, and so they feel the need to put their stamp on it without understanding why the thing was the way it was originally.
Yeah.
It's a great example of Chesterton's fence. If you don't understand why the ugly duckling scene was in the movie, don't remove it until you understand why it was put there.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And Arco says he heard this one was decent, but he burned them out with so many adaptations. Yeah, I hear you there.
From everything I've heard, if you ignore the sort of philosophical changes behind it or theme changes, it's an entertaining movie because it is ultimately a cute little kid having to deal with this gremlin that's moved into her house.
Yeah, I mean that part of it is was pretty decent. I mean, it's not. I wouldn't say it's overall a horrible movie, but it's like if you enjoyed the original animated movie, like if you watched it when you were a kid, or or you watched the straight to video sequels and the TV show, like you're probably not going to like this movie.
Right. It is. I mean, the reason it made so much money is because a lot of normal people who don't think about movies and themes a lot just remembered watching it when they were a kid and said, "Oh, I could take my kids to that," and I won't begrudge anybody that.
Yeah, I won't either.
But it's still just like, Disney, make new things.
Yeah. Yeah. Netflix is eating your lunch with like K-pop demon hunters.
Yeah, and all the profits you made off of this movie got eaten up by Captain America 4 and Snow White. So congratulations.
Yeah. And Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Thunderbolts.
Like I keep forgetting that movie exists, which is a problem.
Yeah. Well, you're not alone. Everybody forgets that movie exists.
Yeah, it was really popular for about a week and then not so much.
Yeah.